Hi, I'm Radine. Welcome to Life Sciences. Today we're going to look at theories of evolution. Have you ever wondered how snakes lost their legs? So let's have a look and see if we can find out why. Okay, according to one of the theorists, Lamarck, he says that snakes were lizard-like creatures, so like this one here. And as they went into burrows, they used their legs because they used to wiggle in the narrow burrow. And that is how they didn't use their legs, so they lost the actual use of, or the limbs. All right, so let's have a look at the concepts or the aspects that we're going to cover in this topic. So in the theories of evolution, we're going to have a look at Lamarckism. So he was one of the theorists. We're going to look at Darwinism, which is also from Darwin. We're going to have a look at punctuated equilibrium. And then we're going to have a look at artificial selection. All right. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the key words. The first one is artificial selection. And that's, if we have a look at the terminology there, artificial means that we artificially select something. So in other words, it's not happening naturally. Okay, so this is where humans selectively breed. So that's selective breeding of organisms to produce domesticated animals and even plants with more desirable traits. Okay, so it's basically humans selecting certain characteristics that then satisfy their own needs. Okay. Right, then natural selection, which is now the opposite, is the process whereby organisms better adapted to their environment tend to survive and then produce more offspring. So in other words, there it's nature selecting the characteristics, and that then allows the organisms to survive. All right, and then another theory that we're going to have a look at is punctuated equilibrium. Actually, it's a hypothesis that evolutionary development is marked by isolated episodes of rapid speciation between long periods of little or no change. And this is where the term punctuated comes from. So if we have a look there, punctuated means that there's breaks in between, and equilibrium means balance or equal. So in other words, during long periods of time, there might be a change, a sudden change, and you get speciation happening. Okay, so basically what punctuated equilibrium is, that is long periods of time where we have, that are punctuated or broken by shorter periods where rapid change occurs, and that's where we see organisms changing. All right, and then we're going to also have a look at Lamarckism. And Lamarckism is named after Lamarck, and he was a French theorist who worked actually before the development of genetics. So what he basically used, or his ideas came from what he saw. Okay, so what he believed is that organisms can pass on to the offspring physical characteristics that the parent organism acquires through their lifetime, okay, through their lifetime, either by using or disusing something. So if they use something, an organ or a structure, for example, the giraffes, if they stretch their necks, they would grow. If they don't, and the snakes, how they lost their legs, and the fact that the snakes didn't use their legs in their burrows, they then they disappeared. So that was disuse. And then basically that characteristic that was acquired during its lifetime, that organism would then pass on to its offspring. All right, and then the next one we're going to look at, the next concept, is Darwinism, and that's named after Charles Darwin, who was quite famous for his studies in the Galapagos Island and actually all around the world. He traveled around on a ship and he traveled all over the world making observations, and he came up with a theory where species evolve or evolution takes place through what he called natural selection. So in other words, organisms were then selected by, there were things from the environment or selective pressures from the environment that ensured that whichever characteristic was the favorable one was then selected, and those organisms then would survive. Okay, and that is through Charles Darwin. We've come to the end of this part of our lesson. We're going to take a short break. See you afterwards.